Hello, hello. How is everyone? Oh, hi, Karen. You're one I missed. How is everyone? I'll let you see Santa Claus, and here I'll take that banner off, and you can see the puppy. I think it's so cute. Such a cute background. Hi, Mel. Oh, I'll take it back off for you, AJ, so you can see it. I just I know it's AI generated, but I it's just so cute. And there's no spiders in it for fancy. But I hope everyone is having a good day. My internet was crap all day. Hi, Gina. So good to see you all. So I'm going to put that banner back on. You never know. You just never know in this crazy world. But here, I'll make myself bigger for a few minutes. Hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, my W doesn't show up too good, does it? I think I need to paint it. Hi, LJ or LG. Geez, sorry. I meant LG. Hope everyone's doing well. I'm not going to be on the camera while I'm reading this because it's going to be triggering for me. Not something that happened to me, but it happened to my daughter. And this is a hard one. I've debated all day about doing it, so but that's good. I didn't mean to slip up, but as long as you forgive me. Okay. I'm going to take myself down and off camera. Well, thanks, Mo. At all times, materials to this indictment. The defendant, John Paul Miller, resides in the District of South Carolina. The defendant, John Paul Miller, was the local pastor of Solid Rock Church in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Victim 1 was the wife of the defendant, John Paul Miller, until her death on April 27th, 2024. Count 1. The grand jury charges. I'm going to pull it up bigger for me to read, so bear with me here. Let's make this bigger for me. Okay. That beginning on or around November 16th, 2022, and continuing through on or about April 27th, 2024. In the District of South Carolina and elsewhere, the defendant, John Paul Miller, with the intent to kill, injure, harass, intimidate, or place under surveillance with the intent to kill, injure, harass, intimidate victim 1. Used interactive computer services, electronic communication services, electronic communication systems of interstate commerce, and other facilities of interstate and foreign commerce to engage in a course of conduct that placed victim 1, Micah, in reasonable fear of death and serious bodily injury, and caused, attempted to cause, in the course of conduct would be reasonably expected to cause to victim 1 substantial emotional, and let me get it pulled up for you guys too. Arrests, to wit, John Paul Miller sent or caused to be sent unwanted and harassing electronic communications to victim 1, used or threatened to use nude photos or photographs of victim 1 to harass victim 1, posted a nude photograph of victim 1 online without victim 1's consent, placed or caused to be placed tracking devices on vehicles used by victim 1, placed victim 1 or caused victim 1 to be placed under surveillance with the intent to harass and intimidate victim 1, damage victim 1's vehicle, interfere with victim 1's finances and banking, and interfered with victim 1's daily activities. In violation of Title 18 United States Code, Section 2261A, 2A and B. Count 2, false statements. The grand jury further charges. On or about October 17th, 2024, in the District of South Carolina and elsewhere, the defendant, John Paul Miller, did knowingly and willfully make a materially false, fictitious, and fraudulent statement and represented in a manner within the jurisdiction of the executive branch of the government of the United States, to wit, he falsely claimed victim 1 had been calling him more than he had called victim 1 on March 11th, 2024, when in fact the defendant, John Paul Miller, called victim 1 at least 50 times more than she called him. He falsely claimed police had never told him to stop contacting victim 1, which in fact the defendant, John Paul Miller, was told on March 11th, 2024, by a police officer with Horry County Police Department to stop contacting Micah. He falsely claimed he did not damage Micah's tires or cause to be damaged, when in fact the defendant, John Paul Miller, used or caused to be used a tire deflation device in victim one's tires, in violation, again, of the title. And then the last page is just the, the certificate page that they've got to have. Hi, Troy. Sorry. Yeah, I almost lost it. I've got a small video that's a little over 5 minutes long, and we're gonna watch that. So hold on, and I'll get that for us. Whoop. Well, I'm about to give up.
This week, the United States Attorney's Office indicted Myrtle Beach pastor John Paul Miller on charges of cyberstalking his late wife and lying to federal agents. The indictment describes some disturbing allegations of harassment. A marriage should be a place of peace and support, and it turned into a nightmare for Mrs. Miller.
That was U.S. Attorney Brian Sterling speaking on the charges against former Myrtle Beach pastor John Paul Miller after he was indicted Wednesday.
Prosecutors say Miller sent unwanted and harassing messages to his estranged wife, Micah Miller, from 2022 until her death in April of 2024, and then say he lied to investigators about his actions.
Now, it's a local case that made national headlines over the past year and is finally moving forward.
ABC 15's Kara Riskus spoke with solicitor Jimmy Richardson on what his charges mean.
Miller is indicted at the federal level for cyberstalking and making false statements to federal investigators, and if found guilty, he could face prison for up to 7 years.
According to a release from the United States Department of Justice, the indictment alleges that Miller was sending unwanted and harassing communication to Micah for almost 2 years leading up to her death. Richardson tells me that cyberstalking is a federal statute, and that's why it did not remain in the state's hands.
If you're keeping up with somebody's location, or if you are constantly monitoring their phone, you've got rights to the information on your phone, but wiretapping, all of that sort of stuff is usually federal charges because it deals with telecommunications.
Federal investigators say they interviewed Miller about the allegations and that he lied, prompting the second count of making false statements.
If you lie to a police officer in such a way that it sends them off on a wrong track, there's a lot more to prove in the state system. In the federal system, you don't have to talk to the police, but if you do talk to them, you got to tell the truth.
And when I asked Richardson if Miller could face that maximum amount, he says it depends on his cooperation.
In state court, that's all on the judge, and usually they're always concurrent. I would guess that there are ways for him to lessen the amount of time. If he pleads guilty and he pleads guilty early, he is going to get a benefit of that in federal court.
So here's the difference between a federal and local case. Richardson tells me that federal prosecutors have to have all the information first before making the indictment. In studio, I'm Kara Riskus, ABC 15 News.
Now, we are hearing from Regina Ward, the attorney for the family of Micah Miller.
Now, Ward says she felt a wave of emotions after reading through Wednesday's indictment.
There was a multitude of emotions. It became very emotional to me, and I was like, finally it's here.
Ward says she was issued a subpoena by the United States District Court in June 2024, requiring her to turn over any documents related to Micah Miller. She says she provided special agents with folders, binders, and boxes of materials she believed were relevant to that investigation.
She says many of the allegations in the indictment were first identified in what's known as Micah's List, which outlines actions believed to be considered forms of abuse. Ward wants to see them addressed through legislation against coercive control.
Now, we previously reported that State Senator Stephen Goldfinch reintroduced a bill this week aimed at criminalizing coercive control with hopes of gaining traction in the upcoming legislative session. Ward says that bill is just another step towards getting justice for Micah.
WPDE did reach out to Russell Long, the attorney for John Paul Miller. We have not received a response.
Now, in a one-on-one interview, ABC 15 spoke with John Paul Miller in July last year about Micah's mental health, disputes with her family, and allegations of abuse raised by members of the community.
At the time, Miller had not been charged with or indicted for any crime and said he wanted to address the family's and community's concerns directly. We asked Miller whether he had placed a tracker on Micah's car, an issue referenced in a March 11th, 2024 police report, and whether he was having her followed.
I hired a private eye. I hired a private eye that day because I thought that if she's mentally ill, that she's probably.
Then somebody was following Micah because some of her reports were paranoia of things people following her.
Oh,
So
no,
there was a private eye following her.
No, nobody was following her. No, I had a tracker on her car.
Now, John Paul and Micah Miller were married in 2018. In January 2023, Micah reportedly told police the two were separated. By October, the couple officially filed for divorce. In February last year, police reported Micah was involuntarily hospitalized for 48 hours. Later that month, Micah told police she believed John Paul fraudulently initiated that hospitalization. Now, a magistrate summons was issued for both Micah and John Paul Miller to appear for a bench trial on March 26 last year in a civil case in which Micah was seeking a restraining order. On April 27th, Micah called 911 from Robeson County threatening suicide. Her body was found in the water shortly after.
Police confirmed John Paul Miller was not in North Carolina on the day of her death. As we mentioned, we have reached out to both Miller and his attorney following news of the indictment. We have not received a response. You could read more from our interview in 20.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, this is all current, AJ. What just happened? The indictment. Yeah, he is a narcissist. And the coercive control bill needs passed. And it needs passed in every state, not just there. And well, that's what they're getting at, AJ, that he stalked her till she couldn't take it no more. Yeah. And that's the part that hits home. Yeah, that's what they're getting at, AJ. That he cyber stalked her. He manipulated her and her stuff, her cars, her finances, her daily life. I do, AJ. Only because I know what it can drive a person to do. Hang on. Her family believes that he drove her to it. I know in their heart of hearts, they do. But I know they came out and said they felt like he done it. Well, there is absolutely no proof of that. Nah, partly, Cynthia. That's not what they think, or how those people think. That's not his end goal. Not just to make her look that way. That was not his end goal. All about control. Thank you, AJ. Sorry about the little breakdown there. I told you guys it would be hard. Hi, Monty. But we will see what will come out. And we'll see if other states will adopt Micah's law. Every state needs to. And police departments and such need training in those areas. Because they have no idea. They have no idea. You know, Mo, I didn't see if they ever did pass it in North or South Carolina for sure. But I hope they have, and if not, I hope they do. But I think they did. I just don't remember. Okay. Maybe I'm done crying now. So I'm back. Sorry. I just wanted to read that out and just have a little talk. Well, that's good, AJ. But, you know, it needs to be nationwide. Okay, Mo. I'm wanting to say it did get passed, but I can't remember. But it's up to us to take it to each of our states and see if we can get it implemented. But we'll see where this goes from here. And you heard what they said, if he pleads guilty and pleads guilty early enough, he was talking about it lessening the sentence. Oh, hi, Jet Set. Thank you for hopping in. Yeah, I seen you earlier today. I don't know how much time he's looking at yet. This is all we've gotten so far. This was just the true bill that came out. Is that all it is, AJ? That to me is like a slap in the face if that's all he's facing. Okay, I didn't listen, I guess. I'm sorry. Oh my. Yeah, it needs to be worse than that. But all those things that she was claiming that she kept track of, that she was journaling about, at least she was smart enough to have gotten her journals to her attorney, from what I understand, before anything happened. Yeah, that's what I heard, that part, AJ. I just didn't hear how many years. But I didn't get my daughter's journals. She kept track of everything. And of course, I will never see them because that monster done away with them. You can only be strong for so long. And like everybody says, I don't personally know, but they say it takes up to 7 times of leaving before you can actually leave for good. It's okay, Monty. It's my reality I live with. I didn't ask for it. She didn't ask for it. She didn't ask for nothing of what she got. When she moved to Missouri, I thought, finally, she's getting away. But they have a strong, strong hold on you. And he sucked her back in. Oh, you're welcome, Jet Set. We're so small here, we can give a shout out to everybody that comes in. But I just wanted to read that with you, or for you, and play that video. Justice for Micah. Hopefully, she will get that. Thank you, everyone. Love you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.